Welcome back. In this lecture, we'll learn variables. Variables are created as soon as you assign value to it. There is no declaration unlike other programming languages. That is, we do not need to declare a variable before we assign any value to it. Variables doesn't need to be created with any specific data type. They can be changed after they are set. That is, if we assign a numeric value to a variable, then the variable becomes a numeric variable. Similarly, if we assign a string value to a variable, then the variable becomes a string variable. String variables can be created either by using a single or double quotes. Variable names should start with either a letter or underscore, and it should not start with a number. Variable names should contain only alphanumeric characters and underscores, and variable names are case sensitive. We can assign different or same value to multiple variables in one line, and we use concatenation operator plus to concatenate two different variables, just like other programming languages. Now let's see the demo. Go to our IDE PyCharm practice, that's our project name, and let's create a new Python file and let's name it variables demo. Let's add a comment, variables demo. Now let's create a variable called name and assign a value Bob to it. Here if you see, we are assigning string value to a variable called name, so that's the reason this variable name becomes a string variable. Now let's print the value inside a string variable by using a print function. So to save the file, use Ctrl S and right click and click on run variables demo to run the file. So now you can see the value inside a variable called name, that is Bob. So here, as soon as you assign value Bob to name variable, this variable is created. So let's add the comment. To save the time, I've already added the comments in a notepad. So let's take this comment and add it here. So that way you guys can refer in the future. So now let's create another variable test and assign a value 7. Here we are assigning an integer value 7 to a variable called test. So that's the reason this variable test becomes a int variable. So now to the same variable test, let me assign new value. So in this case, we are assigning a string variable. So then the variable test becomes a string variable. So now let's print the value inside test. Here we are replacing an int variable to a string variable, and if you here also you can click it to run the file. So you can see 7, we are replacing int with string. So let's add this comment as well. Variables doesn't need to be created with any specific data type, and they can be changed after they are set. So initially we created a variable called test and assigned a value 7, and after that we changed this int variable to a string variable. Okay, so now let me create two variables. So the first one, name1 equals to Bob, and let's say name2 equal to Bob. Here if you see, I created the first variable string, name1 string variable with double quotes, and for the second string variable name2 I created with single quotes. That is, the string variables can be created either by using single quotes or double quotes. Okay, so now let's print both name1 and name2. So click here, so you can see the values Bob and Bob. So let's add that comment as well. So string variables can be created either by using single quotes or double quotes. Now let me create 3 more variables. Let's say name1, name2, name3, and let's assign 3 different values to it. Let's say Bob, Craig, and John. Now let's print all 3 variables, name1, name2, and name3. So run this file. Now you can see Bob, Craig, and John printed in the console. So let's take the same variables, and for all 3 variables let's assign same value. So let's say if you want to assign the same value, so name1 and name2 and name3, for all 3 variables let's assign the same value. Here we see three different variables, we assign three different values. Here we are assigning same value to three different variables. Now let's print here. So you can see the output Bob is printed in the console. So that means we can assign different value to multiple variables in one line, or we can assign same value as well to multiple variables in one line. Now let me create a variable called name and assign a value John, and one more variable age and assign 40. So now age variable becomes a int variable, and one more height, let's say 6 feet. And let's try to concatenate two different strings. My name is, and we use plus to concatenate two different variables. So now name is a string variable, so I am concatenating my name is, that is a string, with another string using a concatenation operator called plus. So now save it and run the file. So now you can see my name is John. So now let me print age or name plus age. So here we are concatenating a string variable name and an integer variable age. Control S and run this file. And now if you see, we got type error, can only concatenate string to a string. We cannot concatenate string to an integer. So that's the error we got. So let's comment this one. So now let's see what happens if you concatenate age and height. Control S and run this file. Now you see 46. So that means this concatenation operator plus becomes a arithmetic operators when we use to concatenate two different integers. So this becomes a arithmetic operator. So that's all I have for the variables. In the next lecture we'll learn data types. All right, see you in the next lecture.